Hey guys, we're going to try out a new plugin from Overloud today called Voice, and we're going to test this thing out to see how it holds up for death metal vocals. Let me drink some water before we test this out.
The life you've wasted, blinded by darkness, the toll you must pay.
Now, real quick, this is not a sponsored video. I literally just got an email, I think it was this morning. I guess I'm on their email list, Overloud's email list, and didn't even realize it, but just got an email saying, hey, we have this new plugin called Voice, and I've actually been kind of looking for something else to use for my vocals. So I'm like, let me try this out. And this is like an all-in-one plugin. So I'm gonna go over the features and then I'm gonna let you hear some samples of death metal using a few of the presets from Overloud's Voice. So right off the bat, you can see the interface. It's pretty enhanced in my opinion because everything is right there in front of your face. I mean, you've got access to all the controls here. And I guess this is one of the things to me that kind of makes it a little bit more efficient than using a vocal chain, which I'll talk to you a little bit more about that, setting that up in your DAW towards the end of the video, so hang around for that. So let me just go through the features here real quick. So you've got a mic preamp. Actually, you've got different preamps. I believe it's four mic preamps. You've got a little drop down here. You've got this tape simulator, which is kind of cool. And you've got some different features within there. So you got different options there. You've got what's called a vocal enhancer here, and again, you've got different options here: female vocal, male vocal backing, and so forth. There's a multi-band here, which is your de-esser and de-box, and you've got a deeper level of options here as well. There is a compressor. Now, the compressor, you've got 5 different types of compressor here. So one's like a tube compressor here, which is pretty cool. And you've got an EQ over here, and there's several different types of EQs. Oh, we got a German one for German metal. That's probably not what that's for, but hey, let's pretend. Here's your space, which I guess this is your reverb, fancy name for reverb. And you've got, wow, I didn't even see all these yet. So you got a ton of different reverbs in here, as you can see. That's a lot, different types of reverbs there. Let's move over to the delay. And you've got different types of delays. You got a stereo doubler here, which this is a cool effect, especially on guitar, but this can be a cool vocal effect when you want your vocals to end and give it that just wow moment. That's a kind of cool effect. This is one of the personal effects that I like to have, so I'm just happy to see it there. Then next, you've got this where it says voice right here. You've got a EQ compressor, and this is kind of your readout here. I left this on auto with what I'm about to share with you, but what's cool is, as you can see on the screen right now, as you're singing through this, you can see the readout here. So that's just kind of cool. If you've got somebody like a producer or somebody just helping you record, they can actually see that data as you're singing. So that kind of helps them to be able to adjust different things as you're singing. So that's a pretty cool feature. I like that. You've got your master controls over here. No, not master of puppets, master controls. Come on, guys. Now, Overloud Voice comes with some pretty decent presets here. And again, we're gonna go over 3 of those that I thought were cool. But real quick, there's actually like one particular kind of big name in here, Joe Berresi. He had produced the Queens of the Stone Age, Bad Religion, Tool, and Soundgarden, and he's got some of his presets in here as well. So I just thought that was cool to see his name in there. There's a couple other people, but I don't know who they are because I guess they're more of the pop genre, you know, stuff that we don't listen to. So anyway, but I actually used one of their presets, and I'll share that when we get to that part. I'll leave that one for last. So this first preset I want to share with you, this is called the Full Studio Chain, and this is just one of the factory presets. And actually, it's probably my favorite one.
You think it's over, you've won the game. Your quest for power, race to the top on the backs of slaves. You think it's over, it's just begun. The life you've wasted, blinded by darkness, the toll you must pay.
Now here's another preset I want you to hear, and I thought this one sounded okay as well. This is, again, another factory preset, and it's just called Rock. So let's hear what this one sounds like.
You think it's over. You won the game. Your quest for power. Race to the top on the backs of slaves. You think it's over. It's just begun. The life you've wasted, blinded by darkness, the toll you must pay.
Now this next preset I want you guys to hear is under a guy by the name of John Paterno, and he's produced some pop people, I guess, and I have no clue who they are. But anyway, he's got a preset called the wide range male vocal. And as I was going through different patches here, presets and all, this is one I came across. I'm like, okay, this one sounds pretty cool for death metal as well. And I'm pretty sure he did not intend for this patch to be for death metal, but hey, let's hear it.
You think it's over. You won the game. Your quest for power. Race to the top on the backs of slaves. You think it's over. It's just begun. The life you've wasted, blinded by darkness, the toll you must pay.
Now just a quick note, I went through a lot of different presets before I shot this video, and I just kind of picked the 3 that I thought sounded the best for death metal vocals. Oddly enough though, I didn't choose any of Joe Berresi's presets to be for this video here. And the presets were good because I did try some of those in my normal rock style or metal style singing voice that's not death metal. And I was like, okay, these are pretty cool, and maybe I'll do a video on that later down the road. But you know, this test was specific to death metal. He does have an angry voice preset on there, but that's not made for death metal. And I just want to bring up a point real quick on that note that some young, I wouldn't say young death metal singers, but some death metal singers are just starting out, feel like they have to add distortion and all these different effects to their voice for death metal. But I just want to bring up the point that no, you do not need to add any of that. If anything, you want your EQ and pretty much everything across the board to almost be flat. And actually you've got to take out some of the lows a lot of times and even bring down some of those extreme highs a lot of times, because what you want is everything to be kind of leveled as you're singing death metal. That style of music, you have the tendency to peak in certain areas, and you kind of have to cater it to your own voice. And I'm kind of going off the beaten path here, but I just wanted to bring that up. If you're a new death metal singer, don't add distortion to your vocals. Don't add a lot of different effects. I mean, maybe a little reverb, a slight bit of delay is okay in some cases. But everything kind of has to be, you know, balanced out as much as possible. And if you're going to tweak anything, just make very subtle tweaks here and there. That's just something that I found personally that works best for this style of singing. Now, real quick, I want you to hear one more thing before we end the video. I'm gonna sing the same thing that I was singing earlier, and actually I'll tell you what I'm singing. I'll tell you what song that is after I do this part. But I want you to hear one more preset here, but this is not from the Overloud Voice. This is just from a vocal chain I put together in my own DAW, which is Presonus Studio One. So check this out.
It's over. You won the game. Your quest for power. Race to the top on the backs of slaves. You think it's over. It's just begun. The light you've wasted, blinded by darkness, the toll you must pay.
Let me know in the comments if you could tell any grand difference between what I just shared and some of the presets that we went over earlier. And the reason why I shared this with you just now is because I wanted to show you that you can actually use what you have in your DAW. Chances are you already have recording software, and that recording software probably comes with an EQ, a compressor, delay and reverb, and all these things, de-esser, all these things that you need to formulate your own vocal chain. So I always encourage everyone to try to work with what you have and master what you have. And that way you can decide if you truly need to go up to that next level or buy something else. And then when you get there, let's say you decide to purchase the Overloud Voice, because it's a pretty cool plugin. Like, I love the interface and layout and all that stuff, real easy to get to everything. But if you master what you have, when you get to that Overloud or whatever plugin you decide to purchase, then you're going to really be able to learn the ins and outs very quickly and dial in what fits your vocals best. So that's just a little tip I wanted to throw out to you guys. You know, learn to work with what you have first before you move up to something else, because if you're frustrated with what you have now, like let's say you're trying to work with the plugins in your DAW and you're getting frustrated, chances are if you go buy another plugin, you're probably going to have those same frustrations, and that's simply because you haven't learned how to use those tools. So I encourage you to spend some time in your DAW, learn how to use those, and if you decide you want to purchase something else, whether it's this or something else, then that way you'll be able to really dial it in with that new product. So again, just a side note. Now, I do like the layout of the Overloud Voice because everything is right there. Sometimes when you're working with different plugins like stacked on top of each other in your DAW, you've got to go from one to another to make those changes. And with Voice, it's kind of already like laid out, like everything's just right there. So I do like that capability, which again, that was one of the reasons why I've been looking for something. So now, will I purchase this? I don't know. I haven't made a decision yet, and I probably won't make any decisions until I try some other demos out, because that's, you know, we all need to do that. You need to try different things out to see what caters to your style of singing, what works better for you. So I don't know. We'll see, and whatever I end up getting, of course, I'll throw a video up for you guys. So real quick before we part ways, the song that I was singing is called Never Enough. And actually, I just did a lyric video on that. I'll put that link up here. I just did a lyric video on that song, and I've gotten a lot of really good feedback. So that's actually from my latest album that I released in 2019. I think it was September 2019, called Masterpeace. So you can definitely check that out. Listen to that lyric video I just put up. Also, I'll leave a link to go listen to that album on like iTunes and Spotify, all those good places in the description of this video. So check that out. On that note, there's also a link in there where you can get some of my music and get on my mailing list. So that's one of the ways I keep in touch with everyone who supports my music, which I greatly appreciate. So sign up for that, and I've got some cool stuff I'll give to you and throw your way as well. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for supporting my channel. If you have any questions about this plugin or just, you know, recording vocals in general, please let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to answer. I'm going to be putting more content out in this area of recording death metal and extreme metal vocals, because hey, it's the kind of stuff we love. Guys, until the next video, as always, keep it metal.